And we are live, sir.
All right, one sec.
Okay. Right. Come on, everybody.
Hold on.
Yeah, you talking about some hold on. I told you, work out your technical difficulties.
All right, make sure we good. It's still, you see me, this looks blank, right? Okay, I got it.
Yeah, it's blank.
All
You
right.
blank. They don't know who I'm on the air with. They don't know what's going on. Oh, yeah. So here we are. I know I'm not by myself, guys. He's here. He's just behind that black screen you can't see right there. All right. Welcome. Y'all come on. Come on in the comments, ladies. We're gonna need y'all help with this one tonight. I know, right? Technical difficulties. So I guess I'm Babyface and he Teddy Riley. Hilarious. Oh my God. Oh, and now he's gone. He'll be back in a hot second though. So come on in, invite all your friends, share this conversation that we're about to get into. I definitely want to hear from all of the women that are listening on this evening. We need your take. We definitely need to hear from you in regards to this. Okay, he's back now. I don't have to keep filling in the gap. All right. Yeah.
That was a good test. I tested you. I had to test you a little, see what you was gonna do.
Whatever. I got your test right here. Keep on playing with me.
I said, let me test him and let him just go ahead and run live and see what he gonna do on his own.
Yeah, I'll turn this joint out. You know I will. This will be a whole nother thing if you let me do it.
Right. Oh gosh. All right.
Oh,
good evening, everybody, and welcome to Unscripted. I'm your host, Charles Dixon. I am here with the superhero of the hour, my accomplice, Mr. Adam Ford. He is here to take part in this very surgical topic on tonight.
Help us, Jesus.
I say this is surgical, people, because a seasoned woman reached out to me and she says, not only I'm sharing something sensitive with you that I'm dealing with, but she says, not only am I dealing with this, but she said, I believe this is something that women all around are dealing with. And her reason for asking this question is basically based off of a book called Sacred Woman. I've never heard of the book, but it's a big book, supposed to be a popular book that's been around for a while, called Sacred Woman. And basically what the breakdown of this is, the woman has two minds, her brain and her womb. Both have memory attachment, and with women being magnetic, if she attracts the same type over and over, the pattern must be broken to heal. Also, things medically could contribute to the need to heal the womb. Worried about Tyrone can basically cause fibroids, endometriosis, and infertility. So the book Sacred Woman helps women understand their role in his life and her divinity with help from other women. That's kind of the breakdown of the book. But the premise of this show, the book is going to underwrite what the show is about. But basically, the show is about, now good thing the lady is anonymous, but pretty much the show is pretty much like this. You can't leave them if you are still in their bed. I repeat, you cannot leave them if you're still in their bed. Basically, her challenge of healing the womb. I'm sure this is no. I'll get you in a second, Mr. Ford. Let me
Hey,
lay
you know
out the groundwork.
I'm just
Let me,
sitting here.
I want to make sure people understand. I want to make sure people understand clearly. All right. Basically, you know how it is when like women love hard, and when a man has tapped in to a woman, however he's tapped in, when he's tapped in, he's tapped in. And when a woman is committed to loving a man, or if she falls, even if he don't love her or love her properly, her loyalty still stands up and she's there. The problem sometimes is when the relationship has gone very sour or very unhealthy or abusive or different things or just downright dirty. When it gets to that point, sometimes there's a spot in the brain that says, get your stuff and say, boy, bye, and walk out, right? But then there is a larger place that says, girl, you better sit down. He taking care of the house. Don't go nowhere. Leave this womb right here. And this creates a long lasting battle type engagement, because you have all sorts of thoughts that you're thinking, and I'm going to leave on this day, I'm going to leave on this time, I'm going to do this, that, and other, but you find yourself not going anywhere because you can't quite understand what's holding you. Well, I'm here to tell you on tonight, what's holding you is the attachment of the womb. Now, I'm not a woman, I don't have a womb, but I can tell you.
Newsflash.
I'm not a woman, I don't have a womb, but I can tell you this. I do know that, now, heck, in some cases, it's the opposite way around. It's probably a man on here trying to heal himself in some cases, but in most cases, if a man gets a hold of a woman, if he gets a hold of a woman, it can just be a long ordeal. And saying that when this particular person said, she just like, heck, I just want to, she says, I'm on a mission of healing the womb. And at first I didn't quite understand what she was saying, so I typed back and said, so explain. And so when she explained, I said, I got it. So basically what she's pretty much saying is she's tired of being held captive by her womb. The decisions of her womb. The decisions of her womb have kept her and held her captive for such a time as this. So I jokingly said, but I was really serious. I said, well, this really don't have to be a big show. I can give you one answer to shut this down. And she said, what is that? I said, well, number one, the best way to heal the womb is to seal the tomb. And then she said to me, wait a minute, this ain't no tomb. I said, I know I'm halfway joking, but I'm halfway serious. And I'm halfway serious because in most of these wombs, if we are honest, and if we are seasoned, and if we have been experienced in this thing at all, whether married, divorced, separated, unmarried, dated for years, whatever, been sexually active, 9 times out of 10, the reason I call it a tomb, is because they are likely dead man's bones still residing. Now, on that note, we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about it, and we want the women. Y'all need to help us out. We're not women. We're just trying to help facilitate the platform of this topic that the young lady brought forward. So, women, by all means, chime in on this thing about the womb. But the healing, this is basically the woman is saying, I am proclaiming a movement to heal my womb. She has had enough. She has been emotional here and there, but she is still stuck. The womb she's made a proclamation, but the womb has a disagreement because the womb is still pretty much in favor of the latter lover. So she is in a conundrum, and she is emotionally stricken because not only is the person, a former lover and, kind of close lover, but I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there's a child involved as well. So it's even more complicated, but the treatment of the situation has her just wanting to get, just separate and heal the wound and, and go from there. So, Mr. Ford, unless the women are starting to chime in, what comes to mind when you hear, this story?
Well, when we first started talking about this,
yeah,
of course, my first thing was, I'm not a woman, I'm a man. I don't have a womb. So
yeah.
I don't
Understand.
initially understand all that it would entail to bring healing to the womb, because again, I don't have that particular functionality. But hearing you talk about it, hearing you break down the situation in terms of what it actually is, it's interesting, because I believe that this is not just it's an issue that women deal with, but it's also an issue, if we're honest, that men also deal with. And what I'm getting at is the fact that there is a duality in each and every one of us. Just like this woman is having difficulty in actually carrying out the decision to leave because she feels tied to this particular person. And I'm going somewhere with this.
Okay.
It becomes difficult to sever that tie, if you will.
Yeah.
Because I've become accustomed to this tie. I've become attached to this tie. This tie is a part of who I am. So whenever you have to make a decision to sever a tie, it's a lot. It's a lot, because now you're in conflict with yourself. Part of you wants to stay.
Yeah.
Whereas another part of you wants to leave. And now you have to make a decision as to what are you going to do? Okay. So I think it needs to be said that I think part of this has to do with the fact that, and I'm probably jumping like right down in the middle of this, but I think part of it has to be, okay, so I'm talking with my wife because I had to ask her about this too. And she said things that were really interesting and that were very, that are very germane to the plight of women in terms of them being with somebody or having a companion in their life. And one of the things that she said to me that I took to heart, that I really began to understand, was the fact that whenever a woman gives themselves to a companion, it's more an emotional action than it is so much a physical action. Okay, men are more.
Hey, Adam.
Yeah.
Hey, Adam.
I can hear you.
Shift your thing, because I hear you sound like a robot. You sound like a robot. You might want to slightly move your device. It may be a connection thing.
What you mean, Slip? What you mean?
It just sounded like you were starting to sound like a robot.
Oh, because I was okay. I don't know. Is that better? Is it any better now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Now go back to what you were just saying about your wife, because that's when it started getting blurry.
Okay. All right. So basically what she was saying was the fact that when women give themselves to their companion, they're doing it from a emotional place. Now, it might be physical in terms of what, I mean, of course, it is physical in terms of what they're giving, but the essence of what they're giving is emotional to them. And so whenever they invest themselves in a relationship, that investment, even though it's happening on the physical level, it's also simultaneously happening on an emotional level. And this is where the problem comes in, that because now I've tied myself to you, I've tied my heart to you from an emotional standpoint. And this is why sometimes it's hard to break that tie, because it's not just physical. We're not just talking about the physicality of it, but we're talking about the psychological aspect of it and the emotional aspect of it. Because for the woman, they're giving themselves, again, not just physically, but emotionally, which is a whole nother realm. And I think sometimes
it's doing it again. It's doing it again.
Okay,
it's doing it again.
Is it? I don't have anything else.
Can you hear me? So let me ask you, do you hear me? Do I sound clear? Let's make
sure.
You sound better. Do I sound
I
clear?
think it might be you.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. So let me ask you this: on your device, are you using your phone or are you using like a tablet?
I'm on a computer, dude. I'm on my desktop.
Okay. I'm wondering what I tell you what. Oh no, you know what? You can't go out and come back in because you might kick me off.
Because it's gonna take everybody. It's gonna take you off. It's gonna take everything down.
Let me see.
It might be the area that you're in. It might be the area that you're in, though.
I don't know. Let me see. Let me move. I think it's you. Let me move. I don't think it's me because I don't hear anything. All right, let me see. You tell me because I think I hear you sounding really. You sound like a robot.
No, I think it's you. I think it's the area that you're in. I'm sitting still. I'm in one spot. I'm in my home. I'm on my Wi-Fi at home.
I bet you ask the people. Tell the people to speak. Who do y'all hear sound like the robot? Me or Adam? They gonna say Adam.
Chime in. Let us know. Is it me
who
or is it
sound like the robot?
Who sound like the robot today? Look, brother, you in the car. You in the car. I'm at home on my Wi-Fi.
But I was in a good spot.
Robbie says I sounds fine. Demetria says I can hear Adam, so it's not me.
Well, that's weird. Maybe the stuff was just coming on my end. It sounded like a robot to me. All right,
Dude,
so go ahead. I'm sorry.
You on a wireless network. You're on a cellular network, son. I'm on a Wi-Fi at home. Tamika Kelly says we're both fine. We're both fine. All
right, well, go ahead and complete. Go ahead, complete the mission.
What was I even talking about? And now he's gone. After all of that, now he's gone. Lord have mercy. Help us this evening. Oh my God. Okay. Well, we gotta wait for him to come back. But anyway, what I'm saying is the fact that he's back now. Lord have mercy. Here we go. Okay. Hello.
Go ahead. I'm gonna put myself over somewhere.
Yeah. Okay, look. What I'm trying to say is that it's for the woman when it comes to healing the womb. I don't think the womb is just the physical aspect of it. I really do believe that it has a lot more to do with the emotional component of the woman and the psychological debilitation that is as a result of the relationship not working out according to her expectations.
Now you are stepping into the next realm of where I was going to hit when you just said that. So this is my thought. I think the womb is very much purposeful in the institution of marriage. Now it's purposeful, period. But it's purposeful in the institution of marriage. Now I'm going somewhere with this. It's purposeful in the institutions of marriage. But when the womb is in use outside of the institution of marriage, like I put this down, I said it becomes the currency of women in how they govern all of their transactions with men. This currency it's used to say, hey, what I got this. I got this. I can go ahead on and this is what I got. And so you're putting it on the table, even though it's your womb, but you're putting it on the gambling block, and you're hoping, like what you just said, in your mind, you're saying, if I'm going to risk my womb and my emotions, I am risking it under the auspices of getting said return on investment. I have this in mind. I think he looks like a good suitor, or he looked like he has potential, or this one is the pastor, the church, whatever you're desiring, and whoever the person is, you're using the currency as a form of payment to get a product, and that product is in likely commitment, marriage, whatever the case, husband, child's father, whatever it is. It's a bait. It's a bait, so to speak, when outside of marriage. That's what it is. And so I think the problem comes is if you're gambling with this womb all the time, if you're gambling with it, this one, I met this one. Yeah, girl, did y'all sleep together? Yeah, we did at one time. So it's one pile up after another, and emotionally, it takes a toll on you. What happens? And so if you are constantly going around this track and you hoping for this to work and that to work, and it doesn't, but all you can look down and see is your pockets are getting thin because you have been spending your currency. Now you're feeling desperate and you're feeling like I need a bailout because I'm about to go bankrupt because my balance is low.
Okay, so let me jump in here real quick, and I need the women who are listening to help me suss this out a little bit. So I know, okay, so for you, Charles, you're explaining it more as a transaction, if you will, as a financial exchange. You're exchanging.
No. Oh no, yeah, I'm referencing it like that, but I'm talking about the womb being used like as likened unto money.
Right.
It's not
That's
money,
what I'm
but
saying.
yeah, that's what
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But see, for the woman, at least if I'm understanding this correctly, and women who you're listening, my sisters, if you're listening, please help me with this. I think for them, it's not so much a down payment as it is them saying, I believe that you're the one for me. And so since I believe that you're the one for me, I'm going to give myself to you. You see what I'm saying?
Yes,
and again,
yes.
it's I think so yeah, I think that's where it's at. It's more of them saying, I'm putting myself out there for you because I believe that you could possibly be the one for me. And so I want to show you that I'm possibly the one for you by giving you who I am. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so I think it's you can't necessarily, because they're going to see it differently. They're going to see it from an emotional standpoint. Again, I know it's them giving themselves physically. They're giving it physically. But again, for them, I think it has more or less to do with the emotional aspect of who they are as women.
Absolutely. Because women are receivers, and they're designed to intake, and when it intakes, it's like for us, if men choose to want to be casual or call themselves, doing something emotionless or whatever, men can go and do certain things and withdraw and back out of the transaction, and it's as if they didn't invest anything. The woman is the bank, so every time you step in, you're stepping in, even if you putting $1 in or 20,000, she's the bank, right? So you're stepping in. Oh, go ahead.
No, because what I was going to say was, I think where you're going with this which is the right direction, is that when it comes to men and how they deal with their relationships, men compartmentalize a lot of different things. And so they're able to section off certain aspects of how they are and how they deal with other people, how they deal with the relationships, how they deal with the women in their lives, because they have the ability to compartmentalize in terms of putting people in certain areas. Whereas with women, it's all related. It's all connected together. Her body is connected to her emotions, and her emotions are connected to her psychology, and her psychology is connected to everything else that everything else for who she is. So again, you got to understand it as it's not just the woman giving her body so much as she's giving the totality of who she is.
Yes.
That's where it's at.
That's it. And then here's the other side of it. Sometimes the inner turmoil and the inner argument becomes with the woman is, yes, what you said is 110% correct. But then when you have what she stands to lose by what she tends to give versus what she desires. So some women will be in Las Vegas and will lose the deed to their house in hopes of obtaining what they want.
I got you. Yeah.
And I think this is the problem. Like you might can say, like I remember back in the day at this at church, I remember this woman was waiting for this particular minister. She was a virgin. She had kept herself period. But you couldn't tell her that God didn't tell her that this man was for her. So he dated her a little bit, took her out, they stopped talking. She still stood in proxy for this man. Well, as the story plays out, the man went off and married another lady. from some other church. Now, then instead of the other lady saying, well, I'm still going to maintain my standard and my stand the way I believe it, and I'm still going to believe God for who he has for me, she traded in her silver slippers for some stilettos, and she went out and about, and she started being frivolous, lost her virginity at 35, and just started going all around this doing that one because she had lost her way. But I said to her, I said in conversation, were you holding your way for you and your beliefs, or were you holding your way for him? You understand? Was it your belief or him? Because if it was your beliefs, what he did does not have to affect you and how you react to your wound.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of disappointing. It's one thing to see somebody holding their own and being strong like that, and then to turn around and get discouraged and go and retreat was kind of discouraging, you know?
Yeah. Okay, so two things real quick. Bruce wants to get in on this.
Oh, he does?
Yeah. And here's the second thing that I want to say is the fact that what was I going to say? For women, it's all or nothing.
Yes.
That's why when they give themselves, they're expecting, if they're looking at it, at least, again, women, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but they're giving 100% of themselves because that's what they want, because that's what they want from you. They want you to also give 100% of yourselves. But again, as men look at it, or as men deal with it, they're only going to do they're compartmentalized, and they're only going to give you a certain percentage of themselves until they realize the value of who you really are and how much you're actually worth.
Yes.
You know, and by the time you get there, we're talking about, you know, committing our lives together for the rest of our lives. You know,
right.
Yeah, it's this is interesting. I think one of the things too that needs to be said with this is the fact that women need to understand their own value. Yeah. And I think this has a lot to do with the process of selecting potential suitors, because if you don't see the value and the worth of who you are, then you will give yourself over to those who don't value you. Because number one, in order for you to be with somebody who values you, have to value you. Yeah, you have to see your own self-worth. You have to understand that everybody's not worth your time or attention. You yourself have to establish that for yourself. This is why it's read, and I know I'm using this particular scripture in a different context than what you've been accustomed to, but this is why you don't cast your pearls before swine, because swine don't know how to discriminate. Swine don't understand the concept of value. They don't know what's worth anything. You know why? Because anything that's put in their trough, they eat. They don't discriminate in terms of what they consume in their diet. Swine eat any and everything that you put in there. And so this is the reason why, my sisters, you have to understand and realize what your value is to yourself first and foremost.
Well, before I piggyback on that, Mr. Bruce, if you want to touch in, check your inbox, sir, or your text.
I got him.
But really,
he's on.
Oh, all right, Mr. Bruce.
What's up, brother?
What's going on, brothers?
Hey. But Bruce, if you feeling hot on the tongue, sir, go ahead and start lashing.
You know, Adam was teaching so good, brother. I just need to listen for another minute.
Right.
I just learned something new.
Yeah.
But the reason I said I needed to chime in on this, Charles, because you know this is my subject, bro.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
When we talk about them soul ties.
Yeah.
Remember, we were in New York, brother.
Yeah.
And we were talking about this, and I said that I want to use the right word.
Okay.
That going through her vaginal area, going through the womb, is the back door into her conscious.
Wow.
Into her subconscious.
Yeah.
Her soul. her emotions, her free will,
Yeah.
and her reasoning ability, her intellect.
Yeah.
And when it gets intertwined with brothers, when it gets intertwined with men,
Yeah.
those are the things that are affected.
Yeah.
Her emotions, her free will.
Yeah.
She thinks she's operating in her free will, but she is not.
Yeah. Wow.
Her reasoning ability
Yeah.
is subject to that very relationship
Wow.
that she thinks that she wants to leave.
Mm.
So I'll pause right there. I want to add that for a minute.
All right.
Okay.
You know, Bruce. What I would say, I think if I had to think of one step, I'm gonna start at step one. That I think, I'm not sure if women sometimes are conscious of this, but listening to what you guys said, you made some very valid points. But one of the things I think that step one at dealing with the womb, the issue of the womb, is number one, taking responsibility that you issued it out. Step one. And I say this because oftentimes in relationships, if they have issues or the minute they fail, the first thing that happens is the blaming of, I gave this to you. I gave you my body. I did all these things. Yes. But unless somebody held a gun to your head, unless somebody was raping you, whatever, taking something from you, you gave it with your own free will. You understand what I'm saying? And so dealing with that first, I think, is paramount. Number two, take responsibility that not every man shares the same end game or relational expectations as you.
Right.
You know, you may have a script in your head already that you want to see played out, right?
Yeah.
Or you may say, well, shoot, Bruce is my kind of man. As soon as I get Bruce, I can see him and I living in Florida, and we're going to do this, and we're going to open this business doing this. And Bruce may just be stuck in Jersey. Bruce is like, I like you, but I want to go down to Coney Island and get some drink, hang out, and we can kick it and be cool. But I'm not seeing it through to that point that you're seeing it to. So when that exchange happens, Bruce, and the womb becomes the welcoming committee, now it becomes a problem if you don't get the same outcome you expected from Bruce from the beginning. Now you mad. He's every dog in the book and everything else. But again, take responsibility, especially when you're a grown person. You're not a teenager or a youngster. You grown. You know what you're exchanging. Take responsibility for that first. Let's see that real quick. That third one I said, take the time to do the inside work, not another man. See, this is what happens. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. Divorces, breakups, whatever. People always like, you know what? I'm going to go and work on me, and I'm going to get myself together, and I'm going to do me, and I'm going to do the work I need to do to put me first. And they do that, but they do not subtract the other man for the maintenance. See, the point is, the problem is, if you're going to go out and rebuild the wound, anything that needs rebuilding, that's been wounded, that's been severed, that's been entered, whatever, you have to allow it time to heal. So even though you may be separating the traumatic portion from that relationship, but if you go over here under the guise of those fair words and good looks or whatever the person is selling you, it's your womb is still in danger. The womb is still not healed, right? So going to another person is not the answer. It's just going to further muddy up the issue, and you're going to be even more confused dealing with that. And with that, real quick, and then the fourth one: learn to enjoy and validate yourself. Stop looking to connect to prove your relevance. See, that's the one thing. Sometimes when these breakups and these things happens and these severings, the first thing on a woman's mind is, yep, I'm done over here, and we broke up and I left Bruce alone, but I got to go somewhere and prove my relevance because I am a beautiful woman. I work, I look good, I'm fine, I'm this, that, and the other. I got to go over here and prove it. And so you run out there and you go looking to prove it, but what you're doing, the more you are putting the womb at risk, you are lessening its value. So it's a defeated purpose. That's all I'm saying. Y'all go ahead.
Yeah, you know what? I'll just add to your list of things that you just kind of iterated. I think it's important that we understand that when when things go awry or things go wrong in our relationships, particularly for women because they are emotional creatures to some degree, is that they carry guilt when things fail.
Okay.
And guilt can be a killer in terms of your emotional availability, in terms of your psychological activity. Guilt can kill you. And one of the things I want to say to my sisters that are listening today is to free yourself from that guilt. Forgive yourself for making a mistake. Everybody does it. We all have failed in some aspect, in some area of our lives. Free yourself. Forgive yourself. That's where the healing begins, in your heart and in your mind. When you begin to release yourself from making that mistake, it's okay. You don't have to die from this mistake. You don't have to remain paralyzed because of this mistake. If you forgive yourself, I think we talk a lot about forgiving other people, and we absolutely should. But I think it's just as important, if not more important, that we forgive ourselves. Key. If you want healthy emotional interactions with other people, learn how to forgive you. Because that goes right into learning how to value you also. Because when you forgive you, then you give yourself value. That's what.
Because like you said, Adam, we all make bad judgment calls as it pertains to mates, connections, people that we, like you said, we allow that type of access to. Sometimes it happens, and like you said, you gotta forgive. It's okay to say, I'm not damaged goods because I chose this person. It was just a mistake. Go ahead, Bruce.
if women do not take that time to release that guilt, there is a energy, there's a magnetism that floats around in her womb, that floats around in her soul, that will attract the same energy that she just tried to get rid of. She has to forgive herself and release it, or that it will still be on the forefront of her consciousness. It will sit there as she goes out on dates, goes on trips, meet guys at the coffee store, whatever the case may be. It will sit there on the forefront of her consciousness, and she will draw, unbeknownst to herself, she will draw that same energy back into her life again immediately.
Hey, Bruce, you're confirming. Look, like we in church, Bruce, you're confirming the word from earlier in the show. When I started the show, I was reading the full word that the young lady sent me from the book called Sacred Woman. And that's exactly what she said. She was talking about the magnetism of the womb and how it often will attract the same type of man or person or spirit, whatever you call it, if you don't address it and deal with it. So, good stuff.
It's important. You know what? Let me just add this last thing on here, and I want people to understand this. We're not talking about. There's no magic with this. We don't have magic words to make it all go away and to make you feel better. What we're trying to get you to understand is that this, Huffman, this is a process. It's a process. Healing is a process. Healing does not take place overnight. You break a leg, you got to go through several weeks of healing and recovery and rehabilitation, learning how to function with that healed leg. Learn how to function with your healed womb. Learn how to function with your healed emotions. Go through the process and allow yourself to go through the process. Don't rush the process. Don't prematurely cut off the process. Let the process be the process. Let the process fulfill itself until the end, so that when you come out of the process, you are completely processed and you're whole on the inside. Because here's the thing. Like Bruce said, you have that negative magnetism floating around you. All you're going to do is attract the same thing again. But once you're healed and once you're whole, now you're going to attract somebody else who's healed. Now you're going to attract somebody else who's whole. So the days of you dealing with Slick Rick and little Steve are over with.
Yes.
Now you're going to attract a whole man up in here. You're going to attract a whole man in these streets.
Yeah.
A man that's whole emotionally, a man that's whole spiritually, a man that's whole psychologically. That's
what now, Adam, the point you made, here's a point to add on to what you were saying when you brought up the part about the break, right? The break and how you need to, guess what? When Bruce, how many of us know if we've ever broke an arm or broke a leg, there is a cast put on that locks that part of the body in position.
That's right.
Until it is healed. You can't get to it. You can scratch it around and put your little thing, whatever you want to do, but you are denied access until it is healed and cleared by the physician to be taken off. So the problem is we want to have the break, but we're allowing access to the injury during the process of it should be held off limits. But you're allowing access to a restricted area.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's good, man. That's
adding.
Go ahead, Bruce.
Yeah. And you're adding on to what's already there.
Yes. Compounding the fracture.
Yes.
Yeah.
So not only are you carrying Tony's issues, now you're carrying Craig's issues.
Yes.
Not only are you carrying Tony and Craig's issues, you done moved on to David. Now you're carrying David's issues.
Wow.
But let me tell you, Bruce, I'm sure, I don't know if any of you all dealt with this, Bruce. I have an inkling that you dealt with it, Bruce. But when you have dealt with or had a fallout or a moment of infidelity with a woman who has a compound womb fracture, when she's dealing with you, it's almost like she's talking to a group. She's angry and she's talking to you, but you're like, wait a minute, you talking to me or is Bruce back there? Or who's over there? It's like the message applies to the group, to the womb people that are the dead man's bones that have not been addressed. And I have had times where I've had these discussions and I'll be like, wait a minute, this is a little deep because I've only known you for 6 months and you giving me 10-year anger.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? This is odd. You're giving me emotion and anger and feelings that do not fit the crime. And I'm sitting here like, I understand. Look, I understand any type of disappointment or hurt doesn't feel good, period. But let's just be honest. The reason why that woman in Stella Got Her Groove Back, the reason why she took and burnt her husband's clothes outside, because she put in time. She was his wife for years. She helped him become who he was and all of that. So for her, the level of betrayal was at another level. So she was like, oh no, Negro, you ain't finna walk out on me. But you figure, you under a year, 6 months, 5, whatever the case is, you just like, what is all of this for? Where is it? Is it addressed to me or does it come from somewhere else?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They become schizophrenic.
Wow.
They become double-minded.
Wow.
And you know what the scripture says about a double-minded person.
Yeah.
They become unstable.
Yeah.
In all of their ways, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? And I don't want to pull this one all the way out of the closet, but I got because this one is kind of it's a bit heavy, but I think I can handle it. So the Apostle Paul talks about, and I don't mean to go Bible study on you, but let me just bring this out real quick.
All right.
Paul talks about those who are promiscuous in their sexual behavior, and he talks about the fact that when you lay with a person, you're not just laying with that particular person. You're laying with every other person that they also laid with. Yeah. This ties directly to soul ties, and in terms of the fact that when you laid with them, and if they had more than one partner or two partners or three partners, the reality is, however many partners they had, when they made that deposit, they became a part of that person that you're laying with. It became a part of them. That's true for each and every one of us until we get our business in order, until we resolve those past issues. So it's important that when you give yourself to somebody else, that you're not setting yourself up to fail again and have to repeat this entire process all over again. Because again, what will happen is you'll end up laying with somebody else who's been laying with a whole lot of other people.
Wow.
And you carry this thing, you perpetuate the cycle over and over and over again. again, compounding the fracture, increasing the damage of the wound because you won't take time for yourself.
Wow.
You know what's interesting? You started talking about that cast. One of the things that came to my mind was the fact that when that leg or that arm is in that cast, to some degree, it's isolated.
Yeah.
To some degree, it's kind of like by itself.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of us have problems with being just by ourselves.
Yeah.
And sometimes in order for you to get that complete healing, to get that complete wholeness, to get the rest of those dudes and dudettes out of your system,
right.
you got to be by yourself for a minute.
Wow.
And I think that's important. I think we need to learn how to value once more how to be by ourselves, how to value our own company. And again, this will only help you to get healed and get whole, so that when the right one comes along who is healed and whole, because look, I mean, I'm gonna tell you like this: healed people, whole people are not looking for broken people to be with. A healed person is not looking for a broken or damaged person to be with.
Wow.
Let's be honest about this. They're looking for somebody else who's also healed and who also is whole.
Oh, wow.
And so if you want somebody in your life who's healed and whole, you got to get healed and whole first. Come on. Let's be real.
No.
Let's be honest.
Wow. Mr. Brew, what'd you think?
I think in a transparent moment, brothers.
All right.
Now, I'm 51, right?
Oh, all right.
The older I get, as accepting, as loving, as unjudgmental as I thought I was through my 30s and 40s, right?
Yeah.
At 51, when I got married, her first child was by me. Walk with me on this.
All right. All right.
Her first child was by me.
Okay.
All right, we divorced. Moving forward, now 51, my child is now an adult.
Okay.
Dating someone with children.
Okay.
With teenagers or young kids.
Okay.
And having to listen or be around, or whatever the case may be, when they are talking with the child's father.
Okay.
At 51, I had no clue, transparent moment.
All right.
I had no clue that would annoy me.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
At 51, Adam.
Yeah.
Wow.
I hear you.
I had no clue that would annoy me.
Wow.
Yeah.
But it's like the older we get, I'm gonna make sure I'm not going through this alone.
Yeah, I got you.
When it's like the older we get, the more the purity of how things were supposed to be
Come to
matters.
Come to surface. Yeah.
Come to surface. Now I know it's very hypocritical,
but it's true
because I have children by more than one woman. So I know that's hypocritical.
Yeah.
Okay.
However, I do not like to hear or see my woman interact with a man that she's had a child by.
Wow. Wow.
Even having the maturity to know that there's no romantic connection.
Right.
But yet it's still something in the core of my manhood that don't like that.
Because you know why? You know what it's called, Bruce? It is the realization that someone else has or potentially has shared a level of access that you was granted. And that will mess up a man for real. Because psychologically, now here's the thing. Women, I mean, when women say, in most cases, when women say, we was just done, because women will still try to be friends with the guy, whether they'll be friends with their ex-husbands and baby dads and be cool, right? They'll be cool, but they say they done with him. But us, Bruce, we're like, yeah, I hear what you're saying, but you're not understanding as another man, he shared access with you.
Yes.
That makes us uncomfortable because in our mind, we feel like, yeah, you being cordial and cool is really putting him in a saving space. And all men know that are sitting in a saving space, we know that there will be a time he's gonna piss you off. There will be a time there may be that 2-week breakup, something,
on,
and then all of a sudden you got time to have a family dinner with our kids we had together. Now you don't mind going to the park with me because you're mad with him. And then that one night, 2 nights, you let him smash because he was in the right place at the right time. It's all about positioning. So that's why when you separate, when you go from one portal to the next, you really have to close the door. outside of having a parental relationship that you got to establish and see kids and stuff like that. But in terms of that, we're gonna be still cool like we were, just minus the intimacy. No.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
No. Yeah. No.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's getting hot and heavy in here, but it's the truth. Because think about it. See, here's the thing. Women, I don't want you to beat me up, but it's the truth. I have seen women get angry if you talk to your child's mom or maybe your ex that you're cordial with about something, and they're because women, trust me, nobody understands marking territory like women. And women is not having it. If you having some kind of conversation, why y'all can't just talk about your son in the open because it's our son. Oh, you still messing with her? I got you. Cool. They get mad. But when women have a father, baby daddy, or ex-husband, they expect you to be mature and stomach it and just deal with it. Because I'm not messing with him. We and him been done. It's a duality. It's unfair. Yeah, it is. It's crazy.
I mean, okay, so I'll speak from my particular experience.
All right.
I'm divorced and I'm remarried.
Okay.
And the relationship that I have with my ex, I made sure that when I left out the door, that I finished as much business as I possibly could. I closed doors.
Come on, teach. You
know what I'm saying? I resolved lingering issues. I did it the best way I knew how to do it because number one, I understood that I still needed to have a good relationship with my children's mother, who
Absolutely.
I honor because she had my kids. Yes. So I'm not going to disrespect her because that would be detrimental to us raising our kids and parenting them. Okay. And so I needed to make sure that when I left out the door, that I left out the door, that I did not leave the door open. I didn't leave that door open. That door is shut. Okay. There's no way back through that door. Okay. And I think it's important, again, at least for me as a man, that I took responsibility for that. I didn't pass it off to anybody else. I didn't justify anything. I didn't try to rationalize anything. I made sure that as a man that I took care of my business. And brothers, I gotta say, we gotta do better when it comes to things like this. I think a lot of times we expect things to be done almost almost like we don't have anything to do with it.
Right. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like we don't have that. Like we didn't play a part in this. But as real men, can I talk to us as real brothers today?
Come on tonight.
The onus is on us.
Yes, absolutely.
The responsibility is on us.
It is.
We set the pattern. We set the model. We are the trendsetters. We are the ones who lead. At the end of the day, and I don't care what none of y'all say. At the end of the day, when I talk to God about my family and what I did, He's going to hold me responsible.
Me accountable. That's right.
Not my ex, not my wife that I have, not anybody else, not the pastor, not the bishop, not the missionaries, not my friends, not my homies. He's going to hold me responsible for what I didn't do and what I did do. And I'm just saying, as men, we got to do better.
Technical difficulties. So, no, I'm just playing. Leave us alone. Dad, the show might be cut off. No, I'm just playing. We stepping on our feet. No, I'm just playing. No, you're right. Bruce, the show, technical difficulties. This is a broadcasting moment.
I'm in control. I'm the producer tonight. I'm in control. I got it. Ain't nobody come out from here. We're going to have a come to Jesus meeting right now. Have a come to Jesus meeting right now.
Oh gosh. But no, that's real talk, for real. I mean, I say it most of the times when I talk about these things. I say that at the end of the day, we as the lead do hold the onus.
We do.
We do. Yeah, we hold the onus on it.
We do.
But yeah, I mean, but you know, at the end of the day, look, the womb, like you said, the womb. See, this is why the womb is so important, because it's attached to the woman's emotions. It's attached to her heart.
Yeah.
You just have to be that much more discretionary and cautious about who you give it to.
Yeah.
Because it don't matter what it is, because when you give it, you are giving you. And you just have to own that. If you're okay with giving you or risking giving you, because when you're giving it, heck, I've seen people get locked up after one night, Bruce. One night they gone. One night they locked up, and because you might have thought, oh girl, I'm just gonna be with him. It's okay. I see y'all tomorrow, and the girl never go home because she just hooked on the guy, and she messed up from the jump. And so that's all it takes is a taste. No different than drugs, and no different than somebody's favorite drink. One taste, and that can alter your whole life. Yeah. One taste. Yeah. So you got to think about that. Yeah. Man, this was a good show, brothers. Look, y'all brought the heat. Man, y'all came on here and turned up the heat. Hey, see if there's any comments. Real quick.
There's a whole lot of comments, man. That's a whole.
Read a couple of them. Read a couple of them. I want to leave.
There's a whole other hour. Okay, I'm gonna do my best. Let's see. Demetria William Pitts. She says, and we were talking about the whole the cast on the leg aspect of it being isolated. He says many can't handle isolation because they're afraid to deal with the Tom, Dick, and Harrys that are still lingering in the loins and in the mind. Ooh. Jesus.
Demetria always starting trouble. Demetria. Go ahead.
That's a whole nother topic. That's a whole nother
Yeah.
Okay, Daniel P. Smith says being divorced doesn't mean you have to be enemies, and it does not mean anything other than that. That's a dysfunctional or common thought. Yeah.
But you know what? That real quick. See, this is the mindset of women. Women think this. Men don't. Men think if you allow us a place, thank you for this place, because I'm going to own this place until it is opportunistic. That's how men think. We don't think, you know what, I'm your friend too, girl. You go on and take care of our son, and I see you next when his birthday come. No, we're not thinking like that. If we had a kid with you, there was something we liked about you, physically, whatever the case. We were cool with you having our child, unless it's one of them situations, Bruce, where they say, I'm gonna have this baby anyway. Unless it's something like that, you were cool with it. So if there was a bond at one point, let alone a marriage, don't take that for granted. Whether you are separated or not, that don't mean that person won't cross the bridge again. Yeah. Believe that. Yeah.
Okay, so Daniel P. Smith said again, Danielle, I'm sorry. Please talk to me. I'm one. I am proof you can be amicable with your ex without any of the foolishness. Yeah. And it's unfair to say that for all people. Yeah, I'm a living witness.
Yeah.
I'm a living witness. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not one for a whole bunch of drama and conflict. No.
Yeah,
right. Never been one. Right. Go ahead, Bruce.
I want to be clear, just to make sure that Danielle didn't
misunderstood
take from my comment that there was drama or conflict in the scenario.
Yeah.
But that one of the hidden things that we as men may hold in our heart is our discomfort.
Yes. Absolutely.
Of that exchange between our women and their exes.
Okay.
Wow.
You know what? Let me just jump in there with you, Bruce. I think it's important again that if that is something that you're experiencing and that's happening to you whenever you might be around them, or you have to have dealings with them or whatever like that. I think here's the first thing I think I want to recommend to you is that you honestly be honest with yourself in terms of how you actually are feeling about this particular person, and then why do you feel this way? Okay. And
because I have a large ego, brother.
I know that's right. Okay. That's honest.
You know what? That's honest, a starting point. That's a starting point, because that's a reality for a lot of men. We have large egos. We got a lot of pride, and so on some level, you have to figure out or learn or navigate, if you will, how do you deal with when it comes to issues like that? Because
Wow.
having that thing to linger on the way that it does is a weight, man. That's got to be a
Absolutely.
lot of weight on you in terms of how you're functioning, how you're operating. You know what I'm saying?
But see, Adam, here's the thing with a lot of us men. A lot of times, we like what Bruce says. He simply said he recognized when the opportunity, when the situation arose, that he was uncomfortable with it. Sometimes we don't really know what lies beneath until it hits us.
Right.
We don't really know what's there until that instance happens. Now we're like, oh, I don't like how this feels.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I got you. And so you know what? When stuff like that happens to me, when something surfaces in me, and I'm like, where the heck did this come from? I'm of course I'm questioning myself in terms of the source or the origination point as to where it came from. But then at the same time, I'm like, okay, this part of me is in conflict with the rest of me. God, I need you to help me figure this out. Because only you can help me work this out of me. So that, because what's happening is if I get into relationships or I'm already in relationships and this particular aspect of me shows up, they're going to be looking at me like, what's wrong with you? I'm going to need you to get you together.
Nothing.
Right. Nothing.
You know what I'm saying? And so I'm just encouraging us either through whatever spiritual experience that you have, or even seeking therapy or counseling to help you deal with the unresolved issues of our lives, because all of us need to talk to somebody about all this stuff that's going on in our head. And there's a lot. There's a lot.
There's a whole lot. Yeah, you ain't never lied. Shoot, it's a whole lot. Sit on the couch. Got to sit on the couch, Adam. But anyway, so we thank y'all for tuning in today, and we definitely thank the women for stepping up and coming through with the comments, because we wanted to hear from y'all, because hey, we don't have the wombs. We're just the onlookers. But anyway, nonetheless, we hope we want to wish everybody success in healing, maintaining, and managing the womb, because guess what? The womb has a huge responsibility. I mean, the womb brings in life. The womb is invaluable.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, it's not only just a sexual portal. It is a number of things, and so that are connected to your heart, connected to your emotions and everything. And I know, Bruce, that us men, if y'all let us run wild, we're gonna run wild. So you're going to have to sometimes override what we think, what we feel, what we try to infuse or try to do for the sake of your womb, regardless of how handsome, cool, cute, smart, strong, whoever the person is. If it's endangering to your womb and your emotions, you have to tap into the brain and say, no, it's not worth it.
Okay, just 1 second. Danielle had a question. I'm waiting for her.
Go ahead. I'm talking. All right, Danielle, no more fighting. Jeez, man.
Danielle had a question. Okay, here we go. So the question is, do you think that a new suitor would not want to be in a relationship because of the amicability of exes? Isn't that insecurity?
No, it's not insecurity. It's not. Trust me. Let's flip this around. Let's say, Danielle, you were divorced. Your new suitor was divorced, and he tells you him and his ex-wife they got 3 kids together, but you hear him say, oh, me and her, you know what? We get along great. I mean, we work well together. We don't have any issues. And ever since we divorced, it seems like our friendship has elevated. In your mind, you're going to put a check mark, because you're saying, wait a minute. He doesn't hate his ex. He doesn't wish he never married her. He doesn't wish he never had kids. So he's actually cool with someone he once said, I do too. That is a thing that you'll be crazy to overlook it. I'm not saying that the person is not going to go back. I'm not saying that they will, but it is something that you definitely would not not think about. And so if the man is thinking about this, now there are some men that I wouldn't call it insecurity. I would call it, some men are so controlling that they don't want you to be friends with your exes and all that kind of stuff. That's a different situation.
Okay.
But insecure, he just maybe just be thinking about it, and maybe he's just a little circumspect because he's suspect about investing himself in that environment. That's all.
Right. Okay, so Daniel said, first of all, she's not fighting. She promises she's not going to fight you. And she said she would be observant, but not a fool.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. See. Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
That's it.
All right. Well, y'all, Bruce and Mr. Ford, I thank y'all for, man, this is a phenomenal show. Y'all, I mean, this was just whenever the stars align, it has no other thing but to go up. So, like I always say, fellas, let's continue to heal the world one heart at a time, and in this case, one womb at a time. Anyway, we thank y'all for watching Unscripted and tuning in, and we'll be right back at y'all soon. Y'all enjoy your evening and be safe out there and be COVID free. All right. Take care.
Absolutely.
All right, y'all.
All right, brothers.
Take it easy
All right now.
All right.